All right, I guess it's time for me to show my face. Hello, hello, good evening. Yes, we are going to be doing Elastic today. So this is really going to follow in line with the course content that we're putting out there. So we're doing that free course. The first week of materials is out there live now. I think we ended up doing 5 separate videos basically to get you straight, get into an Elastic Stack, get some logs in there, get some familiarity. The rest of it's going to be geared towards teaching you the different types of stuff that you need to know and how to query and how to follow attacks, all that fun stuff. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah, hot everywhere. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining today. Got a couple of announcements before we dive right in, but we'll get there sooner than later. Do me a favor in chat, when I click into my VM, when we start doing some demo, just let me know if I start sounding weird and I will see if I can't fix it. I'm still running into some issues with the audio with our streaming platform that we use. I may need to change streaming platforms if this keeps acting silly. All right. Say hello in chat if this is your first time. I want to welcome the new community guests that we've had this week. We had, since the last stream, we've had Michelle join us, Wazi, Double, C7, NS, Cyber Warden, Carrie, Aqua, Sky, Raphael, James, MCs, James R, Spider, and Sid Hart. So lots of new faces in the community. And if you want to join us, please do. Here is the link to that. And you can come say hello and we can help you out with whatever you need, help you break in. A lot of cool people in that community. The other thing we have going on later today, spoiler, we have a double raffle today. So basically what it is, you get 30 minutes with me, all private, just me and you, talking through whatever you want to talk to. If you want to practice interviewing, if you want me to help you with your resume right there, anything. If you want to work on your path plan that you have, you got 30 minutes to do whatever you want, and it's all private. So very cool. We do have a resume review at the end of this, a resume roast. Thank you for sending that in. Brandon will be doing your resume the last 15 minutes-ish of this, so stay tuned. We'll do the raffle right before that. For those of you who want to see that course that is out there, you can check that out here. Here's that YouTube link. I have gotten better about getting the links out so everyone can find them. And here's the final link. If you want to follow along today with the lab that we're working through, here is the lab we're working on. So it is indeed a threat hunting lab. I don't know if we'll make it through all the way. We'll see. I've had a few issues with it that have slowed my ability to work through it, where I have to use the attack box, and even the attack box was acting really funky today where I couldn't copy and paste in it. But we'll work through what we can work through. The goal today is to provide you more tools when you're in Kibana so that you can pivot and you can find the information you need to find to help you progress your investigation. That's the whole goal today. So the goal isn't just to say, hey, we completed another box. The goal is to give you some more tools for your toolbox to make you a much better investigator. That's the whole goal today. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get going. I'll go ahead and bring it up. We'll do a screen share. Again, let me know if something breaks and we will get that fixed. All right, here we go. Let's share this. Let me bring it down here. Let me get my life situated. How's everyone's week been? Have you had any big wins? We had someone that completed their Sec Plus this week in the community, which is freaking amazing. I always love hearing when people, make a big move on their plan. Because it's so tough, right? There's so many obstacles in our way, whatever we do in life. So it's always great to celebrate those wins and make it feel real and appreciate all that hard work that we put into stuff. So right now, I went ahead and tried to build this thing. I'm pre getting it going anyways. And so the issue that I've had, just to speak about it real quick, is that, so typically I use a VPN to connect. We have a VPN up, but for whatever reason, this particular lab doesn't really like my VM, and I'm not sure why exactly. So I guess we will have to do the attack box, which is whatever. We'll just make it happen, right? Let's see, I may have to find a way to a different host. Let's see, THM attack box. So what's funny is there's like this weird little thing going on where if you just have the VPN connected, it won't give you the option to do the attack box, so that's kind of interesting. And where you have to, I found that I could go outside of it and start it up, and then it would be accessible in the new screen. So we can make this full screen here, and this should start it up. So once that gets started, we'll get going for sure. So kind of the idea here is we have a full instance with lots of really good information, and we're going to be able to pivot around and look at different things as a threat hunter. Oh, AJ's in the house. Welcome, AJ. So he is the cool other half of me, the other big half of the academy as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is his world. He loves hunting for stuff. So, you know, this is almost like a quasi tribute to AJ, right? So what's cool about this is we actually have several hosts here. So we have a DC, a couple of workstations, a web application host, and then a junk box. So a bastion host there. And we can really look through different logs to help us track kind of what a bad guy or an adversary may be doing inside of a network, which is cool. There aren't a ton in here where you have the ability to do that, go from host to host, and follow that connection through the environment, which is what it's really like in the real world, right? Attacks never end on a single system. They're progressing from one system to another, and there's a lot more moving pieces there. Same with a lot of noise. A lot of times we're in these training environments, and we don't understand that they're pretty noiseless, right? There's not a lot of normal stuff going on in an environment that we have to work around, which is what you would have to do in the real world, for sure. Yes, the other half of me, AJ. Together we are one. All right, let's see if we got the session up and running. All right, let's click here. We'll get an instance of Mozilla up, and then, or Firefox rather, and then we'll start diving in. So the weird thing, like I was saying before, is that it doesn't like copying and pasting. Last week we were doing this, and I could copy and paste from one to the other, like right here, and it doesn't like for me to do that. So we got to do it the hard way. All right, this we just need to modify to HTTP. Oh, are you decided not to work today? Come on, man. All right, let's see. Let's make sure this is off. This is off indeed. And just trying to troubleshoot. This one's really finicky for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. Sorry for the kind of boring piece. I'm trying to get into this thing, and I don't know what the difference is. Some of these work really well. Some of them don't work really well. Okay, so we have this. It shows that I'm connected in here. Let's see if it's still not liking it. 190, 169. Let's see if it'll let me maybe bring the box over here. Any thoughts in chat about what's going on? Oh, our roasts are funny. Yeah. Well, we appreciate it. We try not to be too hard on people in there, but we also want to give you honest take about what's going on. Let's do show split view. Let's see if this resolves. Maybe just bringing it in over here. I just hate doing this view because we don't have the. Let's do a reset, I guess. Reset. No. How do we bounce this? Let's bounce it. Man, I might have to just rebuild my machine here at some point, or clear the cache, as they say. All right, come on. This is here. Now I need my machine. Give me the ability to start a machine again. Come on, try hack me. You're killing me today, man. We're just trying to hack some stuff. We're trying to have some fun. You're killing me. All right, here we go. We'll let it start again. We can talk through some of this stuff real quick while it's doing that. I hate wasting precious time here. So one of the fun things here, right? We have a couple of things. We'll talk about initial access. So one of the things that it talks to here is SSH brute forcing. Just brute forcing in general is a pretty relatively common thing to see in environments, especially if they're externally facing systems. In this case, we have systems and they're trying to brute force the SSH stuff. So if you're using a password, obviously, then it would be vulnerable to that brute forcing. But we could see other things like RDP, we could see SMB. There's a lot of different opportunities for brute forcing stuff in the environment. Even web applications, we can brute force usernames. And that has a specific signature in itself when you're looking into the environment for stuff, right? So some things we may look for are a bunch of failed attempts followed by a successful attempt. That's pretty much the common signature of a brute force. And other things to kind of increase the quality of that is we're looking at failed attempts for the same username, maybe several usernames. Sometimes we might see the same username with the same source IP, but more sophisticated adversaries will see attempts spread out across multiple IPs as they're shifting their infrastructure to make it much harder to block them. So that's a pretty common attack as well. Oh, let's see, we're super chatty today. What's up, everyone? Yeah, Brian Reynolds says he spent half his time troubleshooting. Yeah, it's gotten more resilient, I think, lately than it has been in the past. Same with a lot of these other infrastructures. But, you know, bugs are a thing. One of my favorite things about using these platforms is there's actually less troubleshooting than if you had to stand up all this stuff your own. But you're always going to run into stuff, unfortunately. So it's just a matter of which is going to eat more time. Typically, other environments are a little bit better. But no matter what the provider is, you're going to have issues. Like OffSec has problems with theirs, Hack the Box has problems with theirs. It's just all over the place because it's technology. It's all built on technology. Technology fails all the time, especially when you have hackers in those environments. So, you know, what are you going to do? And my dog, sorry for the squeaking, my dog has decided to play with a squeaky toy outside the door, my puppy. And he just wants to say hello, with his little squeaky toy. Come on, let's go. It keeps switching to HTTPS. This is HTTP if I remember correctly. All right, so we'll give it a few more minutes. If it's still busted, we'll just switch to something else. I hate wasting time on stuff. So frustrating, so frustrating. Yeah, what's new in the world? Maybe we'll go ahead and do the raffle while we're waiting. How about that? Let's just do the raffle instead while we're letting this thing Let me text my wife and tell her to get this squeaky thing away from the door. All right. All right. So raffle. Let me get the raffle up. Dum dum dum. Where is the raffle? Let me find the screen. Where is it at? I got to find, where is it at? 8799. That's what it should be on. Oh, got it up. Okay, cool. Perfect. You know, being organized is the toughest part of doing this type of stuff. Being organized. All right, so let's stop sharing. Let's share the raffle screen. All right, let's see. All right, cool. Here we go. Now we get some fun stuff. So this is the raffle. You get a 30-minute session with me. We'll plan after this. I'll reach out and we can figure out what time works best for both of us. So, yeah, let's see what we got here. Toss the puppy on the screen. He's outside the door. Some positive technology. I might let him in here. We'll make him a mascot of the academy, right? Yeah, so Sierra's on here, but she probably doesn't want to talk to me, so we can let someone else use hers, unless she wants to hang out with me for a little bit. All right, so E. Davila, you are the first winner of the evening, and kind of how this works. So this is a tool, and of course with everything we can improve it, but how it works is that I kind of scrape all the messages, so everyone that's being chatty in the academy, and each post is a ticket. And so you can see over here how many posts folks have done in the last 7 days. So I pull this right before the live stream. And so that's where we get the data. And so these are your odds. So the more you post, the more you interact, the higher the odds you have. Yep, you sure have. I need to migrate all that stuff from our other academy that we were working on. All right, so let's see, who is this? Psycher Pelt. Congrats, you are winner number 2. You had an 8.6 chance to win today. How about that? And just so you know, the reason why we had two drawings today is Henry said, I'm good, I just got my job, which he did. Big congrats. So I'll let someone else who needs it have my session. So that's why we got 2. So Davila, Psycher Pelt, I will be reaching out this evening or tomorrow to get some time scheduled with you so we can work on, well, whatever you want to work on. And again, this is for people who are just starting out, trying to land that first job, or even if you're like a mid-career person and you want to figure out, how to get to that next step. That's what this is for. We're here to help you get across whatever barriers that you have going on. So it's a good time. All right, so that's that. Maybe, maybe our Try Hack Me wants to participate. Can y'all hear him barking right now? He's so noisy when he's awake. So noisy. Then he has my other hound howling. He's a Malamute, so together they are quite the chorus of people. All right, so I'm over this one. Let's go find something else to hack on because it's still not working. Let me go ahead and share that screen again. What a shame, man. This was going to be a good one. But we could probably find something else that we want to do. I hate that false advertisement though, right? I promised something cool. It's not working. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, so let's share that screen again. We are back in business. Let me get my life oriented so I can see folks chatting. Put this up here. All right, yeah, dogs are something. Puppies are, they definitely kind of sidetracked a lot of your stuff. I was like, well, I can't use my normal workflow because I am working around my puppy's schedule. When he's asleep, I work. When he's awake, I must monitor and ensure he's not tearing up everything in the house. All right, so let's find a SOC challenge. Let's see, type, let's do blue. See what we can find. We've done quite a few blue ones. Cash me outside, how about that? Let's see if we can find any elastic ones in here. No elastic? How about cabana? Or maybe elk? Nope. Cabana? Nope. Ah, rude. OSINT, don't want to do OSINT. CRM, snatch, investigate, the fourth. Let's see what this one's about. I don't want to do OSINT stuff. I'm surprised OSINT stuff is in here under blue. That seems kind of bizarre to me. Directory stolen. Analyze. So we can analyze the network traffic. Why not? Let's join this room. See what we get here. Start lab machine. All right, we'll do some stuff. Yeah, one of the things I've been working on too is something to auto-generate logs. So if we wanted to say, and I know AJ's been working on something very similar, if we wanted to ingest and build detections around specific events, you can essentially auto-inject fake logs that represent real stuff. So it's a lot quicker, right? We don't actually have to simulate the environment. We can simulate it close enough utilizing like other data. So that's kind of a cool thing about AI now as well. We can inject very similar logs without having to do all the work to build them. So that's one of the things I've been using with some of the training that we're doing in the course. At least the initial stuff, we're just doing auto-generating those logs. Because really it's just all about, especially in the beginning, just understanding fields, understanding how to use the tool, and then making sure they're close enough that it simulates real. Because even in some of these in Hack the Box or Try Hack Me, they're missing crucial steps, so they're not even complete things either, which is the thing. Right, you want it to be as complete as possible. All right, so I wonder if it will let me do this now. Let's see. We'll throw this up here. Let's see what it wants me to do. Stolen, blah, blah, blah. The intruder has exfiltrated our network. The only trace left behind is a packet capture file recorded in the session notes. Start lab button to spawn the lab machine. The packet capture is stored in the /desktop directory. So is this our machine here? This might be our machine. No, I haven't tried your SIM, AJ. I've been troubleshooting my CRM today, and it's been actually for the last 3 days. It's been driving me up the wall. So I have like a CRM that helps me like digest my shorts and help me with like the captions and stuff that no one really cares about, but they mean a lot for search engine optimization, and it's been sucking at it. So I've been trying to fix it and make it better, and it's been driving me nuts. So I haven't gotten it there yet, but that's what I've been working on the past couple of days. Here's our PCAP challenge. Can we open this with Wireshark? Yeah, we can. There we go. All right, so for those of you who don't know, let's talk a little bit about network traffic. You won't get a ton of this in most environments, like real environments. You're not going to get a lot of PCAP. And the reason why is, well, there's a few reasons why. Wow, I can't even talk. First reason is because they don't have anything that's going to decrypt the traffic. Most protocols are encrypted these days, and most organizations aren't decrypting all of that traffic, and they may only be decrypting a subset, if any. So unless you're in a really mature organization, you're probably not going to get plain text information from your network traffic. So it's, how it used to be where people were doing a lot of network packet analysis. It's just not that much of a thing anymore. Now, in some environments, sure, you'll be able to do this. But again, it's very few. And that's typically why I suggest most people focus on the operating system side of the house, especially Windows. That's going to make up probably 80+% of your environment, if not more. So if you're talking about, what is the most efficient thing for you to study, what's going to have the biggest impact on your career or getting that first thing, is learning the thing that you're going to be investigating the most first. All this other stuff is like cool, it's okay, you're just not going to use it that much. I've only done a handful of things in the real world with this, and I've worked in quite a few organizations. So just putting that out there. It can be fun. It's just not very common anymore. I said there's a few reasons. I forgot what the other reason was, but that's mostly it. You can't decrypt it. So what are you going to do? Now, web stuff, you can. You're not going to do the PCAP of the web stuff, but you can review the logs and do investigations and stuff as well. All right, so let's look at what we're supposed to do here. So we have this recorded, and we have someone that's infiltrated the network targeting the NFS server where the backup files are stored. A classified secret was accessed and stolen. The only trace left behind is a packet capture. So your mission, should you accept it, is to discover the contents of the stolen data. Cool. Contents of stolen data. So I have a couple of options here. So if you have a series of communications in the same protocol, what you can do is just follow that communication. Makes life a lot easier. Everything's in one place. We can see we only have like 304 packets, which means there aren't a ton here. So this is pretty small for a network capture. So pretty precise, makes our life a little bit easier. But what we could do is we could follow this communication here, this TCP stream, and we'll see that stuff starts coming to life. So this is basically the data going back and forth on this specific protocol, right? If you think back to your Network Plus, shout out to you, Kat, you're remembering there's a two-way communication, right? The source is saying, hey, I need to do this or whatever, and then the targets were replying back. So we can see that here with the red and blue. So these are the two sides of the communication. The red is the client, the blue is the server. So everything in blue is the server replying back. Everything in the red is the client communicating with the server. So we can see that it's talking about like desktop app, we're seeing some kernel stuff. When we scroll through here, we can just see all kinds of different things. Nothing really super important yet. We can see NFS share here. Does anyone else hear like a clippy like thing in my audio, or is it like pretty easy to listen to? I keep hearing a clip like in my ear. Trash, desktop. It almost looks like they're kind of clicking through different directories in here as we look through this. And let's see what else we see in here. We have some numbers. I'm not really sure what these numbers mean. We see storage. And we're just shopping around here looking for anything that screams, hey, this is super, super interesting. Archive password. So that's kind of interesting. We got some kind of MD5 here. Hidden stash.zip. So we have some interesting things in here. I bet what we have is that they transferred a file at some point. And the good thing is if they transferred something over this, it's not encrypted, we can actually recover that file from these PCAPs. I don't know if you know that, but if it's in the PCAP, right, and it is, if they capture the full communication, it has to end up on the client if they requested a file from the server somehow. And so that means all that data is in the stream, you just have to package it back up so that you can pull it down. And it could be the amp. I think I have my amp turned off. I need to just do some serious troubleshooting with someone that knows what the heck they're doing. So yeah, so we see all this stuff. We see some interesting things like the secret stuff is here. We saw something about archive. We saw an MD5, so some pretty interesting stuff. Let's take a peek at, we have a TCP stream, and this probably is going to have some similar content as well as the other one, I would imagine. Yeah, so it is the same stuff. So, okay, so there's nothing in particular there that's going to help us with this investigation. What we can do is export objects. And what we can do is we just have to figure out which ones it will be in. Maybe SMB, nope, there's nothing in that one. Trying to think of which one of these it would be. I don't think it would be HTTP. And I know it's not a web communication. I was just seeing if it's maybe showing up under something it's not supposed to be under. Let's see. Usually I've only done this with the HTTP stuff, so I'm looking to see if we happen to have anything else, if it's going to come through on anything else here. So I think we've checked everything now, so I don't think it's coming through this, so we'll have to figure out how to do it differently. Let's see, we checked HTTP, we didn't check FTP, no. Let's think here. How do we want to pull this data? So let's see. What's up, chat? Let's see, secrets PNG. Yep. So I'm looking to figure out how to extract it from it. We may be able to just take the raw packets from this thing. Let's see if we can follow it one more time, and we can try to just yank the data out of this. That is a possibility. Like this here is probably that data. Like this stuff right here. All right. The issue is that typically it's spread across multiple packets generally. And so if you don't pull them together properly, then you're going to have an incomplete object, which is a problem. Let's see. We could try to save as. So this is a little bit. I don't think that's going to work because I think it's going to be an incomplete file. Give me a second. Let's check this guy out here. Network file system, operation, read plus. AJ, what are your thoughts here? Can you think of another way to extract this out of a PCAP except for just like directly extracting it? It looks like, so I don't know if we have to concatenate all these read pluses here. So it may be two different packets here potentially. Operation, read plus, opcodes, count, offset 0. count 4096. That may be the max size of the packet, perhaps. So here we go, another one, read plus, contents, content type, data, offset 0. Okay, so here's the actual data in here. So we may be able to extract this itself. So let's try, let's see, export packet bytes. No, I just want to export this. All right, just checking to see if anyone's commented here. Yeah, I just want to export this stuff. So there's a PK, so that's probably the header there. So how do I, let's see, copy value. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a copy value, and we'll come over here. Let me change directories. No, one more. Let's see, we're going to do nano int, what was it, NTS? NFS. Is it NFS? NFS dot, we'll do 10, because I don't know. So we'll paste it here. And then we'll do a right output, and then we'll exit, and let's take a peek at it, see if we got anything in there. So the fun thing about most data is it's just bytes. If we can reconstruct the bytes in the appropriate way, then we'll be able to basically do whatever. That's kind of interesting. We want to just make sure it's in the right format, and we can open it up as a picture. So maybe we change this to open with a reader. Why don't we just rename it .jpeg and see what happens? Let's see. JPG. There we go. Maybe we just have to modify so that it is properly constructed. So let's take a peek at it real quick. What do you want? XX, what is it? XXV? Let's see. Hello folks, if you're just joining us, I am bumbling through something I wasn't prepared to demo today, so we are finding our way through this. I bet the PK, let's see, let's look this up. Header trailer for PK file. A PK file, typically a PK zip or zip archive, follows a specific structure. Always starts with 54B0304. 54, okay, cool. So we have, so basically if you're interested in forensics, this is going to be kind of a cool area for you, because this is how we actually do file carving, is we understand what the beginning and end of a file looks like in bytes. And because of that, we can carve it out of memory that's been deleted or whatever. Is we just look for the header, which is this, and then we look for the trailer, whatever the trailer happens to be. And so if we can figure that out, we clean up this file to just have those, and then it will be properly structured, and we should be good to go. So this is the header. So the trailer should end with 54B0102. So if we can find that in here, so we don't, 54B05. Let's see if this is anywhere in here, actually, these bytes. So anyways, yeah, if we can structure this the proper way, then we will be money. We'll be good to go. Just need to make sure it is in the proper format. We could even probably do this. Here we go. All right, so if we save this file, save as infs2.jpg, and let's see if we can open it now. It still doesn't like it. Darn it. Let's see. Think of another way. This is almost like CTFE, right? Where you're just trying to make it work. Maybe it's not. It's a zip file, so we could unzip it, and that might actually work better. Let's see. Ls. Let's try unzip infs.2. So end of central directory signature not found. Either this file is not a zip file or it constitutes one disk of a multi-part archive. Unzip, let's see, cannot find zip file directory in one of the things. Let's try to do this on the original one, perhaps. Let's try unzip infs. Same thing. So there was something in here about the end of. Thank you, Brown Coyote. Yep, he is correct. We're trying to redo this thing. Each entry in it starts with 5042, and then I might have erased too much. It should end with this. So let's see. We just need to make sure our format is correct, and we will be not too shabby. We'll be in a good place. Gosh. I guess I could do it with the mouse pad in here. So mouse pad 2. There we go, and so I think we erased a little bit too much off of that. So it should, can you still, oof. All right, can everyone hear me? My broadcaster just randomly shut down. All right, so I think we cut too much off, actually. So we need to make sure we end with 54B this. So let's grab that one more time. Let's see, where are we at? Here we go. Let's copy the value. Let's do it one more time over here in mousepad, and we'll just make sure we end with the correct amount. So we are looking for the trailer, which should be this. So now we do a Control F, do this. New recording track created. All right, can everyone hear me okay? My sound just went out. Okay, cool, perfect, thank you. And here we go. So let's erase this off. These may just be padding or something like that, maybe. So let's just name this nfs3.zip. And we'll try to unzip that and see if our theory is correct. So we'll say unzip nfs3.zip. is not a zip file or it constitutes one disk of a multi-part. In the latter case, the central directory zip file comment will be found on the last disk of this archive. Interesting. I wonder if that other part to it is something. Let's try doing another one. Let's try taking the whole thing, putting it in there and unzipping. I don't think we've tried that yet. Copy value, throw it in here. We'll save this as infs4.zip. And let's just try unzipping that and see if that works. Same thing. So something in here is corrupted where we're missing pieces of our payload. And that's causing an issue where we can't unzip it. So let's see if any of these NFS star. So it's calling all of these just ASCII text, which is interesting. So file is a tool in Kali that allows you to identify what type of file something is. And so if you have the file correct, it will tell you, hey, yeah, this is like a legit thing. So if you're ever not sure what type of file you have, you just run it through file, and it'll give you a good idea of what you have going on. So that's the cool thing about it. So obviously we don't have the file format correct because it's not recognizing it, which is interesting. That is interesting. So I wonder how we pull out of this. There's got to be another way to export packets to byte, export specific packets. There's got to be a way to pull the object out itself. I'm not sure what a better way to do that. I am pretty positive that it's only going to be if this packet, maybe these two, but we have the header. So the header is in this one. And we have the file markers for the other one. So it should be, so it always starts with PCAP. So it should be this, but obviously something's not right. One of those should have came back if it was the correct format. So it's kind of interesting there. See if dissector, what is that? That is a new one for me. You said dissector is enabled in protocols TCP. What are you talking about? Under, is it one of these options in here, man? Let's see, what is he talking about? It's not telephony, obviously. That's statistics. We don't really care about statistics. Maybe a decode. Maybe a tool. Nope, I don't see what you're talking about. Let's see if you dissect here or a filter on the side that sent it only. Well, I'm only pulling this one packet, so this should be it. This is it reading the file. So I'm not sure why it's not reconstructing it. We got the header. And we know it's a zip file. We could, you know what's funny? Let's throw it into AI and see what it says about it. I'm curious now. Let's see. Let's go to Google. Let's see. Let's see if it can do this. I don't even know if it can do this. Can you find the zip file in this? See what it says. Yes, the hexadecimal string represents a valid archive containing the hex string starts with blah blah blah. Copy the hex string, paste it. To extract the files yourself, you can convert this raw hex string back into a binary file. Paste it into an online hex to binary converter or use your local hex editor. So we could probably use CyberChef for that. Probably could have used the other thing. Gemini for the one, right? So to, I said to binary, but I don't think that is correct. What did it say? Paste it into a hex to binary. Maybe a convert from hex? Let's see, from hex. There we go, and then we download it. All right, and then we go to it. Then we enter the password. Oh, okay, so it works. So we got the proper thing. Now we need a password. Now we need a password here. Okay, so I know we're at time and we're supposed to be reviewing something, but let's see if we can't dissect this and find the password to it real quick, and then we'll dive in. Maybe let's try hack me. Let's see. Let's see, where is it at? See, CD downloads, then zip, download.zip, try hack me. Okay, what was that not it? Let's try that. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so we need to figure out what is a good string here. So something we could do here. So check this out. So we could do this. We can put it into a file, then we can run strings across it like this. File, save as. We'll save it under downloads. We'll save junk.text. Then we'll run strings against it. Strings, junk.text. But I'll pick it up as strings. That's lame. Okay, that didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I thought it was going to be able to pull all of that stuff, but it's still counting all this as ASCII. But I guess it is ASCII. What a shame. What a shame. Let's see. Let's see, what do we got going on in chat here? You could try one of my passwords, admin. Randall, I really hope that isn't your password. What was funny was I was going to leave a joke, but I didn't want anyone to take it too serious. I was going to say, oh, I got a new puppy. I guess I need to change my passwords. But then I thought someone might think I'm really serious. Don't want to encourage bad behavior, but I should have did it anyways. I mean, if you use your dog as your password and you're in cybersecurity, I think you need to take your cybersecurity training over again. Let's see. Do we see anything in here, anyone, that you think may be a good password? We can try password 123, but I would imagine the passwords in here Because it just seems like, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's, well, somewhere in here because they're communicating with it. I really want to know the answer. A lot of repetition. Maybe archive password. Maybe this is the password. But it's MD5. Oh, maybe we have to brute force this. Archive password, this is it. Maybe we have to recover it and brute force it. That is mine. Heart AJ. Heart to you. Let's see. I'm gonna do my cheat I use when I do CTFs, and I just like look up the hash. Well, we don't want to see that. Adult material, jeez. D5 resolves to plain text password Avengers. Look at that. Avengers. Let's try that. Instead of the adult content. Alright, let's try Avengers. I did it. Okay. That worked. And now we just have to open it. What's it called? Secrets.png. And now it's a QR code. Now let's copy this QR code. Converge QR code. Free online QR code decoder. Upload, paste. Did it work? We could upload. We'll do downloads, secrets.png. There we go. There's our flag. How about that? We actually solved one today. So, a couple of fun things here for folks. So, I did a lot. This was not planned whatsoever. We were just hacking stuff and trying to figure it out along the way. So, a couple of fun things here. So, one, when we're looking at this stuff, there's data that goes across the wire. That's what we're looking at here. We were able to identify, hey, this looks like a proper file structure. And then while we were looking at it, we were like, okay, there's a header and a trailer, and this happens to be a zip file. And so when we pulled it down, we had to convert it into a proper file, and we did that with a from hex on CyberChef. So there's probably a way to do this in the command line. We could have probably done it that way. And anyways, we pulled it down from here, and then we went to unzip it, and it needed a password, and we didn't have the password. And so what we ended up finding was that this section in it, and there are ways to extract a zip file's password hash in it. So that is something pretty common. So you could use John the Ripper to do this. So we could have probably did it that way versus the lazy way that I did it. Anyways, then we took the hash, we put it on the internet because common hash is out there, though someone's already cracked them, and it saved us some time. And it told us online and said, hey, this is Avengers is the actual item in the hash. That's what it resolves to. And then that ended up giving us a QR code that we then, this guy here, that we then put in a QR code decoder, and we got our flag from it. So lots of fun stuff there. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to follow up with questions about any of the techniques that we use in there. And with that, we can move forward with doing the resume roast. Probably what some of you folks are here for, the resume roast. All right, so let me go to it first. Here we go. All right, already have it up. Cool. Let me make sure everything looks good. So Brian, thank you for sending your resume over. We're going to knock it out, give you some stuff, and don't worry, I know we're at time, but I'm going to make sure we give your resume enough love here because we want to make sure you have what you need to be successful. And I see you're out there in chat, so yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you. And feel free to ask questions here. And also, if you would like, we can hop into a an office hour session after this in the Discord community if you want to talk more about it in there. So there's that. Let's get started. Without AJ, you can feel free to drop some words of wisdom as well. His wife can wait. She knows it's Thursday. My wife knows it's streaming day. That's what. So she's in there catching up on her trash TV, and I'm in here hanging out with y'all. All right. So summary. So first of all, I'm happy that you have a summary in here. I think everyone, especially when you're starting out, should have a summary. And the reason why is it's a good chance to basically pitch yourself quickly to someone. So I think of this as your elevator pitch of your resume. This and your cover letters are a chance to really kind of break the mold and show your personality. So you don't feel like whenever you do these, they have to be super lame and super like robotic. No, show a little bit of personality here. Talk to people, help them envision why you are a perfect person for this role. Okay, so just realize that, folks. Okay, these don't have to be cookie cutter at all. I know I've seen a lot, and people feel like they have to do it a certain way to be professional. But you can still be professional and still show the world who you are in these things. Okay. All right. So starting off, Security Plus certified SOC analyst candidate transitioning from a career in music to cybersecurity. We had a really cool conversation about this in the community. Where we were just talking about how music overlaps with cybersecurity and kind of the intentional learning that you do in both. So really cool conversation. Shameless plug, if you want to be part of those cool conversations, join the community. Okay, pairing skills from high performance environments and music with experience in SIM triage, network traffic analysis, and incident investigation allows for SOC contributions from day one. Cool. By adhering to mentor advice, conducting structured home lab investigations, and continuing my education in security analysis and AI impact, my goal is to grow with cybersecurity, ensuring continued capacity for contributions to the SOC team. Brian, I think you can do much, much better with your summary, and we'll talk more about it before we finish. I want to see what else is in here first, and we can see this is kind of like an old school kind of, doesn't show a lot about you. Like you've done some cool stuff. We've had some cool conversations in the community, so there's more to you. Same with this, like if you're talking about Security Plus, BTL1 is a much better thing. So I would even say Security Plus and BTL1 certified SOC analyst candidate, or some, like you don't even have to say candidate, right? You could say, I don't know, we'll come up with a better way to say that. But these two together, I think, are absolutely amazing. And then you have all these AI certifications as well. We can do better. We'll do this better for you. Hang in there. All right, skills. I would say your skills here, you have them taking up too much space. I would do this in a way that would consolidate the space so you can use it for your labs and other stuff more, okay? Like this is just taking up a lot more space than it needs to. And these should be curated for the roles you're actually applying to. So that's a big piece of it too. So you have a lot here, and a lot of it's not going to be super applicable for each of the roles. Okay, so we want to curate this. We don't want to take it up. This is taken up maybe a quarter of a page. So that's a lot for your skills. It should be probably maybe an eighth of the page. Projects. Mock incident response report. You have a link to it. Very cool. You actually published it. That's something I actually encourage a lot of you folks to do, is publish stuff. Talk about your journey. Work through this stuff. Show people that you're learning and growing in the community. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't be afraid to contribute even though you're new to the community. Just checking chats real quick. Oh, there we go. It's just AJ chatting with folks. Cool. So let's see. This report conducted a 20-hour Splunk Center mock investigation online. Some documentation, created 27-page incident response report, simulated supervisor feedback via mentor review. This must be the mentor you were talking about. Published project methodology and lessons learned in 3-part LinkedIn portfolio series. We may open this up and look at it in a second because I like to see what you're doing in these things. Man, I wish my chat wasn't sucky. No, y'all guys are great. The chat. I need to I don't know. I need to figure out how to make all of my stuff work better. All right, security monitoring, home lab, integrated modified configurations, WASA, SIM, Active Directory, SysMod, Windows Firewall. Okay, overcame hardware constraints to build working project infrastructure using VirtualBox, featuring Ubuntu Linux, Kali Linux, Windows 10. Network LAN for blue team versus red team exercises by configure LAN. With this leans more to the admin side, not necessarily a bad thing. There are some hiring managers out there who like seeing this type of stuff. For me, I would rather see what you're doing in that home lab with these tools versus just the setting up piece. And if you spend all that time setting it up, I'm sure you utilized it for something. So I would definitely lean more into what did you do? What type of, did you set up any type of rules? Did you do any threat hunting? Did you do any investigations in there? Did you do any attacks and investigate them? Like, what did you do with this besides just setting it up? Because like this doesn't really mean a ton. Overcame hardware constraints. With all of these bullets, they should be talking about your growth, right? Whenever we talk about these resumes, talk about all this stuff on the resumes, you're telling a story about your growth and what you're doing to align yourself with whatever job you're targeting here. In this case, you're targeting a SOC analyst role. So all of these things should be shaped towards telling that story. So like this whole home lab thing doesn't really tell the story of being a SOC analyst. It tells the story of being an engineer or of being an admin of some sort. So we want to make sure everything's tying back to that story of being a SOC analyst there. I just want to point that out. So here he has a handful of things here that are just experiences related to music, which is cool. He's talking about trying to throw some metrics in here, which a lot of folks like to do, and trying to associate it in some way to the business of cybersecurity, which is cool. Yeah, I definitely need more monitors, that's for sure, dude. Which is cool. So one of the things I like about this here is that you're talking about coaching, you're talking about building out curriculums. I love this as a hiring manager because I am always looking for people willing to share, willing to get up and give presentations, willing to teach people, coach people. So I love seeing this type of stuff because I can never find enough people willing to step up and help other people. So I love seeing this. So this is something that's actually beneficial to me as a hiring manager. So I do like that. Even though it's music related, it shows me that there's someone here that's used to coaching, used to working with people, and that's a really good thing for me, especially when you start moving from that junior tier to the mid-tier. Mid-tier people are expected to start coaching and working with those juniors. And it's never too early for juniors to start helping folks out. In my last role, I had someone who was brand spanking new who would get up almost every week and just share stuff they've been learning. Whatever happened to me, he was just sharing that knowledge out there, which was amazing to see. Let's see. AJ says, I don't care about what setup, red or blue scenarios you do. Did you do? Did you use atomic red team? Did you exploit vulnerability? Yeah, so AJ is providing the same feedback. We want to see what you actually did with this stuff. All right, so we also have a bachelor's here. This is going to hurt you in some cases. Not hurt you, but what you'll see on a lot of job listings is they want to see a relevant bachelor's degree. So this may, especially for old school companies, that's what you're going to see in government type stuff. So just because you have a bachelor's, it may not translate the way you think, but you still will be able to find a job, I'm sure. We just have to construct all this other stuff to be a better storyteller for you, right? We want to show your breadth of knowledge, all the stuff you've been doing. It looks like you've done a ton of stuff here. So we want to make sure we're conveying that. All right, so what do we want to do here? So I definitely would want you to say something about Security Plus and BTL1 in this summary. And as far as a SOC analyst candidate, I probably wouldn't say it like that. I would say practitioner, maybe, right? Because you don't, there's this whole mindset, and a lot of people say it too, where you don't want to say you're a candidate or whatever. Practitioner, right? You're saying a word that's much closer to you having had done, showing you that you've done the work or whatever, because you are a practitioner. Anyways, even if you haven't gotten the first job, you're working through labs, you're a practitioner. That's an okay word to use. What I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna help you actually rebuild this, because I don't think you're doing a good job storytelling here, and I'll give you some examples later on. But would I interview you as a hiring manager? I would, but only because you have this on here. You have the two things I'm looking for. Not because this has convinced me to read on. It really, I would skim this and then skip through here, and I saw BTL1. I'm like, okay, probably should interview this guy. Yeah, I mean, that is why I would interview, because you actually have that. The rest of this stuff, I would look at this and see what it says. But if you took out this, would I interview you? Absolutely not. But what we want to do is not have single points of failure in your resume. We want to coax people to want to interview you in multiple sections, right? So we want to nail this. This looks good. We want to make sure this matches resumes in the ATS system, and we want to nail the projects to show your breadth of knowledge and the type of stuff you've been doing. If we really do a good job with those three, you're going to get a lot more opportunities to interview and prove your value while you're talking with them. Dude, you know, KSJ's over here saying, I'm a professional summary roaster. You know what grinds my gears? No, I think people let themselves down when they don't spend a lot of time really getting the summary down. Like, it literally is your elevator pitch. If you don't do a good job here, and you're sitting in one of hundreds and hundreds of candidates coming into these jobs, especially if you're one of the folks that are looking for a remote role, you're competing against the entire United States. You gotta nail this thing down, or you're just gonna be in the garbage can. So, everything matters here. Everything matters in this resume, and you want it to work for you. So don't let the summary lay down and sleep on the job here, folks. If you're going to put it in here, make it do the work for you. All right, with that, thank you, Brian, for putting this in here, for sending this over. If you want to continue hanging out and chatting with me, I'll head over to the Discord channel and we can do some after action stuff, some office hours. Happy to answer this. And this evening, I will see if I can get you some good summaries, Brian, that sound a lot better, and then you can play with them and see what speaks to you. But with that, this has been a fun, interesting, almost random stream today. I didn't get to do what I wanted, but we got some good material in here. And Yeah, keep growing. Join the community if you're not already a member. Do that like, share, subscribe thing. We're here every Thursday starting at 7 to 8 Eastern Time to help folks bridge that gap between training and own the job, training and what the jobs require out there. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for everyone for giving feedback and chatting. And thanks AJ, Sierra for coming in and helping out as well in the chat. Y'all are awesome. I will also reach out to our 2 winners and we'll have a private conversation about how I can help you. All right, with that everyone, have a good rest of your week. Have a happy 4th of July if you're in the US. We will see you next Thursday where we're doing something. It'll be in the events. I'll schedule it this week. And see you everyone.